Welcome friends to my channel for another video of review of mobile device. That today we are having Samsung Galaxy S5. That was a good product launch from Samsung. So here we have the box and let's check out what on the box. It's a 16 GB device. Basically Super AMOLED display, 5.1 inch, 1080 by 920 pixels, and its CPU is clocked at 1.9 plus 1.3 gigahertz. It's water and dust resistant device, and all other that you want to know, it's on the box. It's Super AMOLED display. It's Super AMOLED display, Android technology, Wi-Fi certified, all the Android stuff, and it is having a 28 milliamp hour battery. That is good for this type of phones. And 16 megapixel shooter from Samsung. It was the first phone to have 16 megapixel after the S4 series. Then this was further carried on this camera was further carried on to Note 4, Note Edge and others. And in S6 you notice the same camera but with greater quality because the S6 has many advancements. And front, here we have a 2 megapixel shooter. So let's keep the box aside and let's talk about the device. So here we have review of Samsung Galaxy S5. So as I was talking about the device, this is a 5.1 inch display, 5.1 inch with 1080 by 1920 pixels, and this is a Super AMOLED capacitive touchscreen with 16 colors, which is a great colors production by this. And this is a 432 ppi. So 432 ppi is a good ppi resolution quality for these kind of phones. And if you see the protection on the screen, it's a Gorilla Glass 3. That is a good for this price point phones, Gorilla Glass 3. But now onward the Gorilla Glass 4 is coming. When I purchased this phone, this was around 35,000 Indian rupees. But now, as the Samsung has launched S6 and Note 5 and other phones, this phone has been down valued. This is now around 24 or 25,000 Indian rupees. At which I purchased, that was 35,000. But firstly, when it was newly launched, it has a hefty price point of around 50,000. This phone was great at that price point, and the people were amazed by listening the prices, and the people purchased yet. But after lowering down the price, S5 demand is more. When the Samsung lowered down the price, you can notice the trends of the demand according to the change in price. And as we notice about the TouchWiz, it's a TouchWiz UI Samsung which usually gives with their phones, and it's standard TouchWiz. But from S4 onwards they have upgraded a TouchWiz, and from this to S6 the icons and all have been changed. The newer versions of TouchWiz are going to be good. As you know, new version is always good. So as this phone was stock coming with Android 4.4.2 KitKat, but now it is running on Lollipop, that is Android 5.0. As you can see here, as you can notice, it's Android 5. That's there, Android 5. That is basically Lollipop. And as you do this again and again, you will jump onto the Android popping game. That is basically this one, and it is a bit tough game. So as we were talking about the chipset, it's 1.9 plus 1.3 gigahertz as I told earlier, and it's a 2 gigabytes of RAM, which is good for this type of phones. And GPU, it's having an Adreno 330 GPU, which is also good, but nowadays it's old dated because Adreno 420 has arrived, that you know very well. And as we were talking about the device, it's a great phone with great premium feel and great user quality. As you use the phone, you will be a fan of this phone. But in my point of view, you have some negatives as well. That this phone, sometimes the fingerprint doesn't work. You do and you tend to be irritated by this thing. Sometimes that is basically, sometimes the fingerprint is not in the proper mesh to work, And as we talk about the second negative, that is the heart rate sensor. That is basically not the negative, that's basically positive point, but sometimes it tend to taper off when you measure the heart rate, but that's very rare about that thing. And as we were talking about the device, you notice that the Samsung has given a good quality of colors, and this good feature in the S5 series is at the red color point. You will notice red bubbles at blue, green, and this, and as you run the music there on, it's like that only. And you were being irritated by this thing, so please forget about this is only on my device. No other S5 has this thing, and buttons as well as mine not working because it was an incident which physical damage to phone was there, so buttons were not working. As I was talking about the device, it is a Bluetooth 4.0 device. That is basically Bluetooth 4.0 is new version after Bluetooth 3, and Bluetooth 4 is very quite fast, that you can transfer files quite faster. And this has USB micro USB version 3, that you can notice. Just wait a second. You can notice it's a USB 3. Basically the Samsung has given this for protection against water, so they have tucked the USB 3 under this. It's a USB 3, but the cable that the Samsung provides is MHL 2.1 TV output. That's basically USB 2 for charging. But I don't know why they have done this thing by giving a USB 3 port with a USB 2 charger. I don't know, that Samsung only knows, but still it's a great. USB 2 is also great speed of charge, has a great speed of charging, but USB 2 also has much disadvantages against USB 3, that we will further talk in another some time. And as we were talking about the camera, it's a 16 megapixel rear shooter. 16 megapixel rear shooter is a much bit of a great quality, 16 megapixel that the camera produces, and the front one is of 2 megapixels, that is also produces great selfies. But from S6 onwards they have upgraded the front camera as well, and the rear remains as 16, but the quality of S6 16 is something bit different. As I was talking, this phone is 16 GB device, 16 GB, but in other countries it comes 32 as 16 option. So this has expandable memory up to 128 GPU. And as I was talking, that this has video quality of full HD video quality, that is 2160 pixels at 30 frames per second. That is basically full HD, not HD. HD phones are coming, but full HD. Comparison of this with HTC M8, that is full HD. That is full HD, but not of this quality the Samsung has done with it. And it's 3 options of video: 210 pixels at 30 frames per second, that is full HD; 1080 pixels at the rate 60 frames per second, that is HD; and 720 pixels at the rate 120 frames per second, that is good quality but not HD. As we were talking of the features of this phone has a fingerprint scanner, which I have now. It is screen lock is swipe, but you can change the screen lock to fingerprint. That's there, and you can see it's quite bit manageable, but sometimes that I have sold, sometimes it's bit too bulky process, and you can't really imagine what the frustration comes if the fingerprint basically actually not works. Sometimes you are in hurry and the fingerprints gives you much slow, less you can see. So this is basically fingerprint. And as I was talking about the device is good quality feel from the device. It's premium device of Samsung's series, S series, and S5 was great phone when it was launched, but now S6, so this phone has no value, because value is there, but against S6 this phone is something a bit dated. So as we were talking about the camera as well, like this has geotagging mode, face and smile detection, panorama, HDR and other features. So that's all about the camera. Basically this phone produces a good quality of colors. Good colors. My display is damaged so you can't see, but this phone has good quality of picture production and colors 16 mm, so that is a good level. So that was the basically device information. Now we move on to camera quality. That's the camera quality from the Samsung Galaxy S5. It's a bit good quality camera quality from S5. And as you see the front camera, let's check the front camera. That is the front camera. It's also of a good quality. Front camera is also of good quality. Front camera is also of good quality, but comparing to its S6, that you know this is a bit outdated compared to S6, but 2 megapixels in that time, and I captured great selfies from this phone as well. Talking about that was the camera quality, and talking about the feel and finish, the phone is great in hand, and if you run the phone very fast it will give you, and 2 gigabytes with RAM will never disappoint you. You can notice if I open calculator, that's the calculator and it's runs out, and if I open camera it's pretty much fast, and if I open the clock it's pretty much fast, and everything is bit fast, but sometimes there is a lag, and that's common in every phone. That is not basically disadvantage, that Android phones basically sometimes have a lag, and that's basically hang process, you know. And talking about the device, that is a great device. If you observe the S5's premium feel, and from now, which at this price point it's around 25 or 26, and it will be lowered down as the S7 arises, and this phone at that price point will be a great phone for some who would like to have a low range phone but having a great feature. That is a great phone. So at the end of the review I am telling you, if you buy this phone you will not be disappointed, and this is a great phone, but some of its rivals has some features advantages, and this has also some advantages against its rivals, and that is nothing, but basically Samsung S5 is a great phone, and it will show you how it responds when you take a picture from S5. So please see the camera quality and pixels first before buying. You will be appreciating this phone after looking its camera quality and all the pixels that it produces. Basically at this price point this is the best phone now offering by Samsung, and Samsung has been giving accessories with this. So here I put on, this is an S View cover. This is an S View cover which gives a lot of protection as well. As you can see, this is a S View cover and it's having a proper seal over it, which is for water resistance, and it's there on the back of the device as well. It's a proper S View cover from Samsung. It is available in the market of around price point of 2800, and Samsung is now offering a bit cheaper. I don't know exactly, but this S View cover keeps premium feel as well as levels of protection are also high. So please buy a S View cover with Samsung's S5 or any other phone, because S View cover gives a premium feel to your phone, and premium feeling to your phone, that's good in hand. Basically the cons of S5 is basically sometimes fingerprint is not manageable, and the another con is that some of these applications will sometimes, rarely will give you a lag. Otherwise in feel and finish this phone is good. So if you buy for this phone, I am there, because I am also suggesting this phone is good. So thank you for watching my review, and please stay sign in.